Main man, made man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. And the new unified welterweight champion of the world, Keith one time Thurman, now the new WBA slash WBC welterweight champion by defeating Danny Swift Garcia by a split decision. What a fucking fight, ladies and gentlemen. What a fucking fight. Hats off to Keith Thurman and his entire corner, man. First and foremost, let me say Keith Thurman got in that ring tonight and looked like the much more complete fighter. You know what I mean? He did everything well in this fight. I don't have much bad to say about Keith Thurman at all from the way he fought this fight. If you do not like the style in which Keith Thurman used to win this fight, then I don't know what to tell you, but I saw great boxing experience, a great boxing IQ. I saw two opponents who approached the fight game much differently, and the results speak for themselves, ladies and gentlemen. Into my prediction for this particular fight, I stated that Danny Garcia, in order for him to gain victory, should look to counter Keith one time Thurman to the body, and we saw that. We seen Danny Garcia looking to counter Keith Thurman to the body the entire fight, and that's when he had most of his successes, when he countered to the body. But this is the deal, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't think that would be all that Danny Garcia would do. I'm going to be real. Tonight, Danny looked like a very, very ordinary fighter. And this is things that was been said about Danny Garcia in the past. This is why a lot of people thought Danny would lose a lot of his previous fights, because he usually comes, believe it or not, looking this way in most of his fights, but he usually gained the victory. As we see tonight, these refs call this thing a split decision, which I don't know what the fuck fight they were watching, because I thought Keith one time Thurman purely dominated this fight. I scored this fight 11 rounds to 1 for Keith one time Thurman. I don't know what they were trying to do. Were they trying to diminish the victory of Keith Thurman? Were they trying to make it not look as bad that Danny Garcia lost by as bad? Fuck out of here, man. He got dominated, and I called for Danny Garcia to win the fucking fight. You know what I mean? But it's just like Floyd Mayweather said, man. Danny tonight looked straight up and down, no special effects. You know, my number one takeaway from this fight was Danny's lack of adjustment, man. It's the same way the reason I thought Mauricio Herrera and Lamont Peterson beat him, man. Because in those fights, those two, they adjusted on Danny. Whereas they started out technical and then became aggressive, and Danny fought the exact same style throughout the goddamn fight. No matter which style he faces, whether it's technical or aggressive, you get the exact same Danny Garcia. Well, in tonight's case, where he was clearly down on the scorecards by large margins, he did not look to adjust. He did not look to become more aggressive, in which we all thought that he would, because what people got to understand, man, Keith Thurman actually has full welterweight power, and it was enough to keep Danny Garcia extremely honest and from walking through the front door. Danny Garcia, though he was behind major rounds, and him not having the chromosome in his brain to make an adjustment, or Angel not giving him the proper tools to make an adjustment, well, guess what? Danny Garcia continuously fought in the same manner that he did from the opening bell to the finishing bell, and that proved to be his detriment. Keith one time Thurman did many different things in that ring tonight. Like I said before, he looked like the more complete, more seasoned fighter. Though they say Danny Garcia is the one with the big fight experience and the Hall of Fame resume and all this extra jazz, it was Keith Thurman tonight who looked like the much more complete fighter. I do think Danny hurt Keith Thurman at portions of the fight with the body work, but however, that was not enough. Keith Thurman, like I said, is a thinking fighter. The biggest muscle on Keith Thurman is his brain. You know, it just goes to show you, man, when you see two fighters, like I said before, approach a fight game way different, look what the results do, man. Keith Thurman studies his opponent. He takes away the weapons of his opponent. Clearly tonight, Danny Garcia could not land the left hook as nearly as devastating as he's done on previous opponents. Danny Garcia couldn't really much solidly to the head in this fight. You'll go back and watch this fight. You'll see a lot of shots fall short, a lot of shots hitting arms, shoulders, head, knees and toes. You know what I'm saying, in Danny Garcia's case. But nothing really much solid, because Danny Garcia, I just don't know. I mean, Keith Thurman he knew what to take away from Danny Garcia. He took the left hook away. The timing wasn't nearly what we saw. Danny didn't have the gumption to walk down the front door, and all of this foundation was laid in the fight very early by Keith Thurman. He showed Danny that you were not going to just walk down on me. I'm not going to stand here and let you counter me to the body all night. It's just not going to work. What else do you have? Because I've scouted you enough to know that this is exactly what you want to do. So what else do you have in your bags of tricks? Angel Garcia or Danny Garcia? Guess what? They ain't have jack shit. They ain't have nothing to answer for that shit, ladies and gentlemen. And that is, to me, was the biggest takeaway from this particular fight. So Keith Thurman showing levels, showing he is a much more completed, has a higher boxing IQ than Danny Garcia. For most of us who predicted that Danny would win this fight, we thought he would win it mainly on brute force. Let's just be 100. We thought that Danny would be able to have the power enough to counter Keith one-time Thurman, whether it be to the body or to the head, and that he will hurt Thurman numerous times throughout this fight. Well, guess what? Did not happen, because Danny Garcia is too one-dimensional, straight up and down, no special effects, man. Now, that has been enough, though, like I said, in the past to gain victories for Danny. And even in tonight's fight, the judges called this thing a split decision. Ladies and gentlemen, I scored this fight 11 rounds to 1. There was nothing split about this damn decision to me, man. This was a unanimous victory by Keith one-time Thurman. I mean, he dominated this fight from opening bell to me easily. If you want to give Garcia 2 or 3 rounds, be my guest. I gave him 1. I repeat, 1. He looked flat-footed. He looked slow. He looked confused. He didn't know what the fuck to do. Lack of adjustment, man. I don't know what the fuck is going on with him and his daddy, man, but they are fucking lunching, man. Danny cannot look that way at this level, at welterweight or any other weight for that matter, because I'm telling you, man, if he continues to fight the way he fought tonight with a lack of adjustment at welterweight, he is going to get more losses than he already has, man. So hats off to Keith Thurman, studying his opponent, taking the weapons away from his opponent, outboxing his opponent clearly, decisively. I'm talking leaps and bounds of cushion between the two, man. It just looked like, man, Keith Thurman just looked like the more completed fighter, boxer, warrior, and everything else under the sun, man. Real shit, man. Hats off to Keith Thurman, man. But I'm hoping Keith one-time Thurman, clearly he's going to possibly look to take a softer touch in his next fight, whenever that may be. Because he did, prior to this fight, he fought Sean Porter. Then he turned around and he beats Danny Garcia. And I'm sure the calls are going to be from the rooftops for him to fight the winner of Kell Brook and Earl Spence, or either the winner of Manny Pacquiao and Amir Khan. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, Keith Thurman's going to probably look at take a soft touch at welterweight, and he deserves that. He earned that. He should do that. You know what I mean? It makes no sense for him to jump right back in the ring with the Kell Brook or Manny Pacquiao or Earl Spence for that matter. You know what I mean? Not right away, but he deserves to get some time off, do whatever the fuck he want to do, because his last 2 victories have been off of the chain. He deserves it, and he fucking earned it, man. As for Danny Garcia, I don't know where he goes at welterweight. He's still going to be considered one of the top tier welterweights. Like I said before, they did not want to diminish they did not want to make it look like he got like blown out the water as the reason I think they gave this thing a split decision, to not make it look so bad on Danny Garcia, you know what I'm saying? But he will go on and still remain to get big fights at welterweight. 1 loss doesn't mean shit. People need to get this out their head. Every fighter fucking loses, and Danny Garcia should take this as a lesson learned, suffering his first loss of his career tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully he'll go home, do some deep thinking and go into deep thought, and remind himself, because taking losses at this level, man, now people are going to start to view you just a little bit different. You're going to lose just a little bit of allure. You know what I'm saying? And Danny got to get ready to live with that and to face that and to move on with his career. One loss doesn't mean shit. You're still a very, very good fighter. You're still at the top of your game, and you still have a long way to go in the sport of boxing. So Danny Garcia will be just fine. I would love to see him to continue to get big names and big fights at the welterweight division, man. Hats off, though, to both fighters for giving us a good fight on free national television. Thank you, Al Heyman. Thank you, PBC. Man, I enjoyed tonight's card, man. Just a lot of surprises in today's boxing. We seen what happened with David Haye earlier, and now tonight, who knows? We never knew that Danny Garcia will be exposed for being one-dimensional, flat-footed, and not able to make adjustments. Wow, wow, wow. To the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, Main Man, Made Man. Over at Facebook, Main Man 511. Google Plus, Main Man, Made Man. Facebook, Main Man, Made Man Boxing Forum, man. I mean, damn, dog. Like, totally shocked. I called for Danny to win this fight. Clearly, my prediction was off. But I thought that Danny would not only counter to the body as he was doing tonight, and that he will hurt Keith Thurman, as I think he did at different points of the fight. But I also thought that Danny Garcia will be much more on his technical game, would have studied his opponent much more better, and not just rely strictly on brute force and physicality alone, but actually went in there to think. And clearly tonight, we just did not see that from Danny Garcia. So to the next video. Peace out.